How to write software release notes. Writing software release notes can be difficult. I know, as I used to write them. In software release notes, there are two key things to cover: keeping a formal record of what has changed, informing users of new features and changes. Changes in the software will fall into one of the following: something new was added, something was removed, an existing element has been changed. When writing release notes for each change, try to summarise it as succinctly as possible without going into lots of detail. Aim for a single sentence that summarises the change and, if possible, conveys the benefit to the user. Not all changes will have a positive outcome for the end user. Some changes may bring back-end improvements only, or efficiencies, or may be laying the foundations for future improvements or features. For these types of changes that bring no immediate benefit for the user, it makes more sense to write a sentence that will be understood internally rather than understood by end users. Good words to use are upgraded, fix, and resolved. For example, a new feature has been developed which increases the speed of a back-end task. And that back-end task is utilised by a user notification element. The change could be written simply as notification process upgraded. Or you could add a benefit the user would see by writing notification process now runs faster. Or the two could be combined as notification process upgraded to run faster. Bug fixes can utilise the words fixed or resolved. For example, if there's a calculation and it now gives the right answer, whereas before it didn't, you could write it as fix now resolves inaccurate value, or issue with calculation now resolved. It's important to be able to link the change cited in the release notes to the change in the code, so do include things like a release number, a release date, and a reference for each item within the release notes. These references should only make sense to employees. It could be an internal ID or a GitHub reference. Users are unlikely to delve deeply into the release notes, so being detailed isn't the main aim. Should you want to provide a deeper explanation or really sell a new feature, consider accompanying the release notes with content that gives a full explanation of the feature. Release notes should only be a succinct log of changes. So in summary, keep each item short and avoid going into detail. Give just enough information for tracking changes and keeping users informed. Consider accompanying the release notes with additional content that gives a deeper explanation of features. If you liked this video or found it useful, consider giving it a thumbs up or leaving a comment. Any feedback is always useful. Stay up to date with the channel content by subscribing.